live today on YouTube to celebrate gold hitting a new all-time high price. Now, gold hitting a new all-time high price, let me show you the chart and then we'll dive into a nice conversation. This is that gold chart right here. Gold is currently $27.94 per ounce, but it did peak up here at an all-time high today. If you look at it on the 1 minute, you can see there was some resistance after hitting all-time high. And we're here hitting new all-time high. You zoom out on the weekly chart for gold. This weekly chart, looking at this, is beautiful. What do you guys think about gold hitting a new all-time high price? What does that tell you guys about the markets?
Yeah, what does it tell us? A lot of uncertainty still. I find the stories behind the story are fascinating, though. I heard from one of our colleagues, an analyst in the precious metals, David Morgan, of the Morgan Report, has a fascinating story that's out of the LBMA having issues with delivery. Now, they're meant to have 280 million ounces stored, but they have a 36 million ounce float, which is the theoretical that's available from the float. But the rumors of tariffs and potential tariffs from the US at 25% prompted people to do a bit of a run on the LBMA. Now, this delivery from the Bank of England's now gone up to 4 to 8 weeks. When the delivery time goes up, people in other parts of the world say, hold on a minute, my gold's there. It's a bank run. My gold's there, but it's taking 4 to 8 weeks. I want my gold out now. So now it's just self-fulfilling. Now it's running on it, and now there's a scramble. LBMA can't fulfill. Now this is, the one of the premium places that you can rest at night if you live in India or Singapore or in Vietnam. Your gold's at the LBMA and it's in London, and but now I can't get it. Now I want it, and now there's a run. Now it's 4 to 8 weeks. That's a big problem. Some of the other statistics we were kicking around, because obviously we're in the blockchain and the crypto business. Gold's about 10 times the size of BTC, but currently it only makes up 0.5%. Gold makes up 0.5% of the world economy. In 1960, it used to be around 4 to 5%. If it returned to anywhere near those levels, we'd be looking at 25 to 30,000 an ounce. Now, I think the other week I said to you, I believe gold will be 3,100 by June, and I think it's heading there still. I'd still hold to that. Dan is way more experienced in this than me. I think he was a little bit more conservative on his price, but what do you think, Dan? A lot of stuff going down. Oh, you're on mute, Dan.
On mute.
Yeah, sorry, guys. Thank you, Martin. So my take on all of that is based on this. Back in 2020, I wrote a piece on what would be the price of gold to square the U.S. debt at that time. And at that time, March 2020, was about $87,000 gold. Okay. So now, today, I'm just guessing here, $125,000 per ounce gold. And so that makes $5,000 and $10,000 ounce gold a no-brainer. And from our meeting with David Morgan this morning, he was saying back in 1960, gold represented 5% of the U.S. monetary system, I believe, Martin, was what he said. And you're on mute, Martin?
5%
back in 1960. And now, today, it's 0.5%. So that goes to show you how much more money they've printed to bring down, what gold represents in the amount of currency out there. So really, I think the word for gold is up, up, up. And, 10,000, 25,000, 35,000, no brainer, really.
I mean, another interesting, sorry, Bruce, to jump in. Another interesting fact is what is coming on tariff on hallmarks of gold. Apparently, currently there's 147 different hallmarks for gold. We're looking and hearing that there could be restrictions and tariffs on around 47%, 47 out of that 147 hallmark tariff. What that means is if you've got the wrong hallmark and you've got gold in Mexico and you're shipping it to, say, the US, doesn't matter it's coming out of Mexico, regardless if they have a tariff or not. It's the hallmark on the gold. So hallmarks are going to become very important. We've heard stories with certain hallmarks of Swiss gold that is known to be Russian gold. It can't be proven that was Russian, but if it has that hallmark on it, you could end up with a tariff on your gold because of the hallmark. That's probably.
Mm-hmm. In a way, that kind of makes that those that were forward thinking, that have their hands on their gold in their hands or their silver in their hands, and it's within North America. And chances are, if it's in North America, you're going to have a North American hallmark, and so a good thing, really.
It's a good thing. Definitely a good thing. Yep. My only issue with gold is that I didn't buy more when it was 2,200 an ounce. But I think that the fact of digitization and fractional ownership and things like that is really going to increase the demand. And who knows what the price is going to be.
Actually, Bruce, you just nailed it right there. This is where the load wallet in its fractionalization and basically making it doesn't matter what the price is. It's like Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what the price is as long as you own a bit, right? And so our wallet will do that, and that is really, I think, what helps it to make it appeal to a broad range of users.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, the whole fractionalization part of it, you can own, $10 worth of gold or $100 worth of gold or buy some every week. It's a lot easier. It's digital. It's on the phone, in your pocket.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about storage, insurance, or anything like that. So there's just so many advantages to that, which is why I think it's going to increase the price of gold.
Well, the beauty about it is too, I can swap it for USDC, AVAX. I can. It's right there. I can buy it, sell it, swap it real easy, and that's really the convenient part.
Yep.
I just want to chime in here.
Yep.
So gold isn't really digital yet all the way. Like Bitcoin is 100% digital. If you want to get gold from Spain into America, you have to pay the transportation cost. So what you guys described earlier, the bank run, if they're doing bank run on gold vaults or bank runs on institutions holding gold, and that means we're going to have a supply shock. And as demand increases from the price, that's where we get those big numbers, $5,000, $10,000 per ounce. Bitcoin is so digital that it's very easy to transfer from exchange into another exchange. It only takes a few minutes. If you want to send gold from like Spain to America, you can't do that in a few minutes. You can do it on like the tokenized part if you have like tokenized gold, but the real world gold, eventually the asset will increase because of the transportation and energy costs will increase over time.
I think the big part there is that it's going to shine the light down on who's actually sitting on how much gold, because if all of a sudden it's just like that time about, was it 5, 7, 8 years ago, maybe longer, where Germany was asking for its gold back, and boy, that was a big to-do. They dragged their feet on that forever, and why would they do that? Raises those kind of questions. And so now people are showing up. I want my gold. Yeah, that's going to be like 3-4 months, read the fine print and stuff like that. So yeah,
that's why I think like tokenized gold, any blockchain or any crypto project that's focused on tokenized gold, tokenized silver, they'll be ahead of the curve, because if we get data come out that's going to be transfers 3 or 4 months away, maybe those firms can arbitrage or actually help people settle trades while they're waiting.
You see how powerful the industry is. As soon as I started mentioning it, my internet was whacked. 2 providers were cut. I just switched to Starlink, and I'm back up. But that's how powerful these guys are. When you start talking about LBMA being Dan, I mean, they're obviously watching. As soon as I've had no issues with 2 internet providers, I had no issues. for weeks and weeks. And the moment I'm on a live broadcast talking about gold, boom, done.
Well, we're probably going to be pretty safe to say then that really the trend is the digitization and tokenization, monetization of real world assets. That's the next bull here, and I think that's where the action's at. So whoever's positioned to be able to offer that, okay, that'd be a good thing.
Yeah, everything's being tokenized, whether it's real estate or gold or silver or fractional ownership of jets, yachts, and even rental properties. And I think, gold and silver, well, gold is number one, silver's number two, based on the scarcity of it. But the fact of being able to hold your own gold, not pay for storage charges, not pay for insurance, and it's in your pocket, and you can use it for payments using a Visa card, it's magical.
Well, you kind of touched on a interesting thing there about the relationship between gold and silver, and for instance, the gold silver ratio. I think it's about 80 to 1 right now, or in around there. Where really, here's the elephant in the room, is that, and I'm going to refer to Keith Neumeyer here now, who has silver mines in Mexico, and imagine it's 120 years ago, for instance. You're walking around the hills and you're stubbing your toe on a big chunk of silver poking out of the ground. So that was the low-hanging fruit. So over the last 100 years, or 120 years, they've got all that low-hanging fruit and it's come and gone. And now they have to really work at pulling it out of the ground. It's a really expensive, time-consuming process. And people don't understand, like you're holding a 99.9 pure silver coin in your hand, and it took 5 years to get it to that stage, and hundreds of millions of dollars, okay, and yet it's still selling for 32 American. And so with Keith, he's going like, yeah, it's coming out of the ground at 7 to 1, not 85 to 1, okay. So we, and BRICS wanting to do their own COMEX version is interesting. Like we got some big changes coming our way here, where I think thanks to Trump, we might get some truth, some transparency as to how things really are with any luck, because we have to reset everything here, and this is, I think, why he's going cleaning the house the way he is, and because we got to get to a good baseline here that makes sense.
Speaking about Trump, and before, when he gave a few speeches, I saw he was talking about going back to the gold standard. This was before he was elected. This was a long time ago. But if we did go back to the gold standard, I did the math a few times. Gold would go over $25,000 per ounce to even equate for backing the dollar because of how much U.S. dollar we have in circulation. And it would be even more U.S. dollar needed to pay back the debt as well.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's...
What was your calculation on that?
Well, basically, the whole debt thing is a very interesting fly in the ointment because of how the debt was created and what's all around that. And I'm not going to touch on that here, but I think at the end of the day, there might be a conversion of existing Federal Reserve notes for a Treasury note that's backed by gold. That'd be my guess, because I think we are going back to real world assets backed money, and I believe that there's all kinds of changes already that are going to happen with interest rates and taxation and all of this business. So we're dialing the clock back a long ways, and it'll be interesting to see where that eventually settles, because Trump has always got a little surprise up his sleeve, and we're in Canada, and the whole 51st state thing was an interesting curveball that really kind of rubbed some people the wrong way. But I personally think if we navigate it properly, if we negotiate it properly, that was a negotiating tactic on his part, and so now it's a matter of meeting him at the halfway point. And what does that look like? Don't know yet, but I think that it would be a good thing for Canada.
So I was looking at the charts earlier, Bitcoin was running today. Bitcoin was doing really well. And after it ran up, we did face some resistance. But when Bitcoin was coming down on the 5 minutes time frame, when it had a death cross at about 104,881, at that same time, at around 12, the same candle, that's when gold was double testing that new all-time high. And then the gold hitting new all-time high was at that area. When it happened, Bitcoin started dropping. From gold hitting new all-time high, Bitcoin's already down over 2%. So I think this is already shaking up the market. People are finding that value in gold again. So it's very interesting that they are finding that value, and it made Bitcoin drop over 2% from gold hitting a new all-time high. I bet Peter Schiff's really happy today. What do you guys think? Do you think Bitcoin can maintain these levels if they start pulling liquidity to buy gold?
Questionable.
Well, we were told to do the opposite.
Yeah, we were told. What's your question, Bruce?
People were told.
Do you have a question, Bruce?
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Okay.
Calls keep interrupting.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying it's questionable whether, gold is going to continue to affect the price of Bitcoin. When more and more people are stacking gold or buying digital gold. We don't know yet how that's going to affect Bitcoin.
Plus, I think that we're eventually maybe going to find out how much gold sovereign nations are holding: China, Russia, U.S. I think there's it's been a big game of poker, and how that may impact the value of gold depending on how much they're sitting on, how much they disclose. It's probably going to be a delicate topic or subject on their end because they need to maintain a certain value. I think that gold is on the radar though, so everybody should be owning some gold. Along with your Bitcoin, because you're basically playing both ends, right?
But if you look at it that way, I think Bitcoin, you don't buy at the tops, you buy at the bottoms. So when they try to convince Donald Trump to get a Bitcoin reserve, maybe his team doesn't buy the absolute top and they went into the bottoms. And gold has a lot more liquidity and trading volume than Bitcoin as well. And Bitcoin, when we compare it to altcoins like Doge, Solana, Ethereum, Doge is very low volume and market cap compared to Bitcoin. So sometimes what we see, coins like Doge, people will sell it to buy Bitcoin, the number one. And then coins like Doge, they won't get a new all-time high for over 3 to 4 years. While the number one, Bitcoin is making a new all-time high. Recently, Bitcoin hit new all-time high. So as gold is hitting new all-time high, maybe people are pulling their money out of the risk assets like stocks like Nvidia now. Although Nvidia is a very great company, but near the top, they may be pulling money near the top to buy gold and put something safe in case the markets do come down. Just what I'm looking at here on the charts.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, diversifying just makes sense. Not having 2 eggs in one basket.
Yeah. Well, and the focus on real world assets. Sorry, Martin.
There was something recently with.
Apologizing.
Yeah, I was just going to say there was a recent
explain.
announcement with Michael Saylor, where he created a new fund that is equity in his company, but also pays distributions, and the distributions are paid in Bitcoin.
Yeah, so if people can take Bitcoin, I think MicroStrategy shareholders will get a big loss in this situation if they're waiting at the top, because then that's going to be the sell pressure on the Bitcoin as well. So if Bitcoin is coming down and they're leveraged on Bitcoin, they should theoretically come down like twice as fast as Bitcoin. So if this is like a local top on Bitcoin, if we go from 100,000 to 40,000, the MicroStrategy should drop more than 50% as well, maybe even close to 80%.
Well, and that would probably segue right into Trump now buying at the bottom.
Yep. So maybe we have to hit another bottom before Trump feels confident buying in.
Yeah.
But markets are coming down quite hard right now. From what I see, when I look at the charts like the altcoins, they're coming down as well with Bitcoin. Bitcoin just lost 102,000, and the liquidations in crypto. When you count liquidations, then I think crypto liquidates a lot of dollar value versus gold in a day for the market cap size. People over leverage in gold. Welcome, Richard. We're live on YouTube talking about gold, silver, and stocks. Bitcoin's been coming down. I have this chart up on YouTube with Bitcoin, Doge, Solana, and gold. And gold seems to be dropping a lot slower than Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies. But gold hit that new all-time high today, and after gold hit new all-time high, that's when Bitcoin and alts started falling down today. I think the markets are set for a big correction. I think a lot of cryptocurrencies that are not pegged to gold or not related to gold and silver are going to come down. A lot of meme coins, altcoins, Bitcoin, stocks that were buying the Bitcoin top on leverage, they're probably going to come down as well. I saw like BNB, Litecoin. Lite came down. Litecoin looks like a straight... Litecoin's the biggest drop down today that I see on the chart, like the most angled slope over here. SRP came down quite hard as well. BNB, that's the Binance token. Exchange tokens were very strong, but if we do go into a bear market, exchange tokens generally suffer the most because you get lower trading volume. But just what I'm seeing today, gold had a very big effect on Bitcoin's price. What do you think about the new all-time high for gold, Richard?
I think we're just starting, ladies and gentlemen. Everything I see from a macro and a micro basis leads me to conclude that it's very possible that you see gold anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15,000 in the next couple of years. And if as and when Load succeeds in fractionalizing this asset in a significant way, which is what our plan is, the demand for the product will go nothing but north. So that being said, there's a finite supply. You can't grow the supply of gold by 10, 15, 20% a year. It's absolutely impossible to do so. Based on the analysis that we've done in terms of the production increases globally for both gold and silver, you've got a consistent 1, 2, 3, 4% growth. And if we manage to change the asset class of gold to what it was in the 60s and 70s in terms of percentage of total assets in investment assets, you're going to have a significant reallocation of gold in people's portfolios. Never mind the fractionalization. And if you talk about fractionalization, if you go back in history, starting, let's say, with the condominiums going into timeshares, where hundreds of billions of dollars were made by those who issued timeshares. Instead of 500,000 for a condo, it was 12,500 for 25 years for 2 weeks. So if we enable the average person, which is 7.5 billion people that own smartphones today, to enable them to facilitate the purchasing and selling of gold and silver in a wallet, as opposed to having to store it, having to insure it, having to have it delivered, etc. We've just changed the whole supply-demand relationship, which is very exciting to me.
Before you came in earlier, we were talking about the transportation of gold and silver. As a physical asset, sometimes the banks or the vaults don't have enough gold. People are withdrawing, or it takes too much time to transport. So I think the tokenized gold and tokenized silver, they can arbitrage in between those moments. People can still do the trades, the swaps, while they're waiting on the physical to be moved. I think because gold is so hard to move, like if I had $1 million in gold and I needed to move it to Spain or another country, it might be quite hard for me to do. But if I had it in a wallet, or if I had crypto is very easily to move. So I think there are going to be moments where gold and silver squeeze from that difficulty of moving it from point A to point B. Bitcoin is always easy to move from point A to point B. Maybe some exchanges run out of Bitcoin from liquidity issues, or people getting liquidate, or trying to pull all their Bitcoin off exchanges. But at the end of the day, a Bitcoin transaction takes a lot less than a gold transaction.
Yeah, 100%.
And then there's a confidence level as well. I mean, as we talked about with the LBMA earlier on, I mean, you sit there and you sleep at night in wherever you are in the world knowing they've got it. And then when you want it, they deliver it. Then when you hear people are having delivery issues and it's stretching out to 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 8 weeks, then you hear that and you say, well, I don't need my gold, but I better get it because in case I do need it. So now that's just a self-fulfilling, that's a run. I mean, everybody starts feeling the same. There's a problem. So that's an issue there. One thing that when I had internet connection issues, when you mentioned about the Bitcoin reserve, is it not moving? Isn't the narrative moving now from the administration into a crypto reserve? I've heard that. I've heard both mentioned. I mean, a crypto reserve would be more prudent than just the one asset, wouldn't it? Your thoughts on that, Tommy?
Yeah, you can thank Ripple Foundation for that. They've been lobbying Trump the whole way through trying to get a crypto reserve rather than a straight Bitcoin reserve. And there's been a war behind the background for the last few years about Ripple Foundation versus Bitcoin maxis. At one point, they were under the impression that Bitcoin maxis were pushing Gary Gensler to sue Ripple Foundation. That's why Ripple received one of those big lawsuits first. And thank God Trump got elected, because now Ripple and XRP are seceding. They're able to do what they want to do.
Right.
So maybe just to expand on that a little bit, a crypto basket, for instance, I think would have to be what they would consider like a stable coin. It's tied to a US dollar of some nature. And also, too, it serves a utility. You know, like there's how many cryptos out there really do neither. And they're going to go away, I think. Or they'll always stick around as a meme, maybe. But I think the basket would have to be focused on stable coins, real world asset coin, a utility coin that serves a purpose, like XRP, for instance. So that would be my guess on that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, with physical gold as well as Bitcoin, it's a store of value, whereas digital gold is a medium of exchange, because you could actually use it for payments. Whether, you know, you're buying a coffee at Starbucks or whatever, you'd be able to use digital gold that's fractionalized on your phone in your pocket for payments.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it's also one thing to own or hold the physical. You know, it's another thing to be able to put that to work in a digitized format. So, you know, this is where digital wallet technology comes in, fractionalization that way. Also, you know, I mean, honestly, imagine you're sitting on $1 million worth of silver. Oh my God, right? Versus $1 million worth of gold. $1 million worth of gold is doable. Silver, that's a whole different ballgame. And so now this also lends credibility to having a wallet that you just have you're stacking digital gold, digital silver, and you know. In a moment, you decide you want to, transition to USDC and maybe do an off ramp to your bank or what have you. It's just so convenient, and the fees are reasonable, really, to speak of for what you're getting, in my opinion. And so, just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, like a gold coin, maybe an ounce gold coin. If you ship it from the USPS, it may cost you $5 to $6 to ship it, which is high. So if people can just swap gold and silver tokenize on Avalanche or something, the gas fee is going to be way cheaper. I know people like to collect the physical, but I think moving into the digital, as long as you have something back in it or a redemption feature, that's probably the way forward.
Yeah, correct. You know, there was, prior to our meeting here today, we were chatting about certain things. I'm going to throw this out there just as a talking point, really. I can't prove any of it except that from what I see and hear. But you know, there was this, it had to do with Trump creating or being, an executive order promoting a digital format, digital platform, that sort of thing, digitizing things. And there's always the concern about, a fully digital environment where now, there's a risk, a personal risk to all manner of things like privacy and liberty and things like that. And, I'm just going to offer this as my take. In my opinion, Trump he's a constitutionalist, very, very, defender of the U.S. Constitution. And I think he's also a defender of the Republic. And so, but as far as Constitution goes, the main thing about digitizing everything, and monetizing things that way, it's all good as long as you still have cash around, right? You still can fall back on cash, and cash is high. They have to accept it. They can't deny it. And so that keeps, I think, everything honest. And really, Trump being the constitutionalist that he is, it says right in there, hi, you need to have coinage, money, like real money. And so maybe this is where, the US dollar be backed by gold, perhaps. There's kind of hints about that. And so just thought I'd throw that out there. That as long as we got money, backed by the Constitution, we should be okay.
And I think it's important. I mean, for us, our the platform that we're involved with is a private monetary system. I mean, I honestly would not feel secure if I had something that represented gold in the bricks. So where am I going to redeem the gold from? Beijing, Shanghai, going to Moscow to collect it? I don't think that's going to happen. So I mean, they're just gonna print it like the US dollar. How am I going to get my gold? I have to mail order it. I mean, and just hope it comes. Will they ever have a redemption feature? Probably not. They're just going to tell you it's backed by gold.
Well, and if really, that is kind of the solution that's presenting itself at this time, is where I'm converting my digital gold to USDC, for instance, and I just go to a bullion dealer and I buy my bullion there. Okay, there are fees involved, sure, but that's the easiest, most cost-effective way, believe it or not, because once you start to ship the stuff, it's expensive, and so the convenience of being able to do that now. The other thing is that if all of a sudden there's a squeeze on gold, and gold is hard to find, and the price goes up, right? So that's, this is probably a likely scenario, Martin, where you go to redeem, and now, gold is hard to find, or it's expensive, what have you, right?
Yep.
And you only got so much money, like you bought it at a certain price, and now it's shot up, but you only have so much USDC, for instance.
Yep.
And you can't afford the 1 ounce that you thought you could afford before. And so this is where the digital format is convenient.
Right. And when you operate it like ourselves, it represents a milligram of gold, investment grade gold, in a vault somewhere. So we don't have to care if it goes up to 25,000, 30,000, doesn't matter. We've got it. We're not playing a game with it. There's no ETF with it. There's no, it's there. It's physical, and it's the redeem feature then kicks in, which is problematic for some of our friendly competitors. They've got high redemption levels, hundreds of ounces, which is restricted for most people. And in a lot of cases, it's not really redeemable. It's tradable, and you can redeem it in USDC or USDT, but you can't get the physical. So I think without redeeming the physical, it's problematic. I mean, obviously, we hope that the LBMA actually has the gold. I think it's yeah. I mean, who'd have ever guessed we'd be saying that last year? I mean, but 8 weeks to get your gold, that's a long time.
Yeah.
That's 2 months. That's a long time to be waiting. And that's going to make people very nervous.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty hard to play any spreads there when you don't have it in your hand, right?
Right. Exactly.
Tommy, we just did a video. We published a video. We analyzed the price of gold and the price of silver from January 2000 to January 2025. So 25 years. Gold is up 900%. silver's up 480%, and the US dollar is down 45%. So time and time again, gold and silver have proven the test of time under all circumstances that they are one of the best asset classes to own. And so part of our mission is to explain and educate this to the Gen Zs, the millennials, as well as the baby boomers that don't know it and don't want to buy clunky gold or silver and have it delivered and have the insurance problems and all that kind of stuff. So it's an education process, and we just put a fantastic social media team together. So it's going to start in the next 5 to 10 days.
So gold hitting a new all-time high. Do you think it'd be very risky for institutions to start opening shorts right now on gold or silver?
I wouldn't short gold or silver. I wouldn't.
No, I don't think so.
Go anywhere near them. Because, you know, there's another thing that we're not talking about. The Bank of International Settlements gives very low margin rates on gold. And consequently, the reason for that is that gold is difficult to settle. It takes sometimes many hours to settle amongst institutions. And if we manage to create a new network that's light speed and just for gold and silver settlements, it is possible that the Bank of International Settlements changes their margin regulations or their margin recommendations to central banks and governments and general banks. And if that happens and they increase the margin rates, watch out, the demand will continue to increase. So sorry, go ahead.
I find that fascinating, Richard. We touched on it earlier. This hallmark issue, and hallmarks being out of the 147 hallmarks, that 47 of them could incur tariffs. People are going to be scrambling around on that one.
That's amazing. That's an amazing revelation that we just found out about. I didn't know about that either.
No, I think it's fairly new. It's not in place, but the potential of 47 out of the 147. So now gold is not going to be equal. You've got certain hallmark gold, you're going to be paying tariffs when you're moving the thing. It's crazy stuff.
So I have another chart. I just want to show this last chart real quick. This is the gold to Bitcoin chart. My indicators are showing me that the gold is slowly starting to flip Bitcoin here. We've probably been in accumulation for gold versus Bitcoin for about 80 days. And it's suggesting that gold's value will go up over 180% against Bitcoin. So
I'm not surprised.
So that would probably be gold increasing in price while Bitcoin is decreasing if they meet halfway, or just gold going super parabolic from a supply issue.
Yep.
But yeah, any network.
Remember, Tommy, remember, gold historically is purchased by the central banks. A lot of central banks, not all. Canada has no gold, apparently. And the top 1% of the people of the world. So if there's 8 billion people, you're looking at 80 million people. Out of those 80 million, probably half buy gold and silver as an investment vehicle. If you switch that over in that pyramid, going from 1% to 7.5 billion or 85% of the world, if 10% decide that this is an asset class that they want to buy, what's 10%? That's another 750 million people. Well, if 750 million people decide to change their mind and start acquiring gold through the digital means that we and others are going to present to them, you have a massive demand supply issue. And that's why I would never short gold or silver, unless it's for an intraday trade or something like that. I wouldn't short it at all.
So the people that invest in gold, I think a lot of Chinese people invest in gold. They like all-time high during the Lunar New Year. That may be playing a role.
That may be
Maybe, yeah. Maybe giving gifts. They give money in the red envelope. Why not give a coin in the red envelope?
Yep, it could be a
You
factor.
know what, Tommy? You just remind me of something. I just don't know enough Chinese people. I didn't get one envelope. I need to put myself out there and meet more Chinese people.
I got 2 envelopes.
You did.
You got 2 envelopes?
Yeah.
Being given a P45 doesn't count. No, I'm joking. What? So you got 2 red envelopes.
Yes.
You got 2 more than I did.
Yeah, I got 2 red envelopes.
And-
That's right. I didn't get any. I don't know enough Chinese people. And here I'm sitting in Panama, the home of the Chinese Canal. Please.
Mhm.
I wanted to go back on
don't
Richard's
worry.
point though. The network.
Yeah.
Because the stock market, stocks are not instantly settled down either. After they tokenize every single thing, you can get instant settlement. So,
Yep.
the network that does instant settlement for the gold first, gold and silver, will probably get the first mover advantage and will probably win. Where do you guys keep your gold and silver? You guys have like vaults in your houses or stuff?
I'm not telling. I'm not saying.
But is your vault fireproof, right?
Well, that's the important part.
I saw the people in California. I bet when they came back to their house, their gold and silver was still there. It may have been melted, but it was still there.
Well, yeah, that's a mess.
Some. I bet their iPhones or their Jordans, their sneakers were not there, but when they came back home, their gold and silver was probably there.
Well,
That is an issue with silver because it's bulky. It's very bulky. I mean, look at the price and look how, I mean, oof, it's a lot. Are you $100,000 in silver? That's a big lump, I tell you.
well, and the safe that you need for silver versus the safe that you need for gold, there's the difference in price right
Yeah.
there too,
Big,
right?
big difference.
Yeah. I think
YouTube.
the melting temperature for silver is less than gold.
Yeah.
YouTube
No,
is
you
catching
need
on.
fireproof. Hey,
YouTube is catching on. Yes, I'm speaking to 5 AI. These are all AI. They're not real people. That's why this background's like a hologram. That's why Dan is flickering, Mr. Elijah, in the
I
chat.
know. I apologize for that. I'm looking at that going like, it's too late to change it, right?
No, he's just got a background filter, Elijah. They're real people.
I wish I had a place like that though.
Oh yeah, Japan is cheaper than a lot of places you go in the country of Japan.
Japanese
Yeah,
building.
I think the storage thing, especially for a lot of the world. I mean, the US and Canada has bigger properties than people can store, and but in Europe it's more difficult, and there's a security issues obviously everywhere, but some countries more so than others. So you have the centralized storage, which can be problematic as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just bury mine underground.
Yeah, so don't forget to
Nice.
revisit it. I did that actually once. A little story here. I had friends had this acreage property, central BC. So I needed to put the silver somewhere. So we found a spot just off a path and dug a deep hole, 2 feet deep, put it in there, and kind of had the landmark. Okay, fine. Anyway, 7 years later, yes, I'm visiting my friend, but I'm not revisiting the landmark. 7 years later, oh my God, landscape changes, flora and fauna and all that business, right? And all of a sudden, I was panicking. I almost couldn't find it. I got lucky because I remember this particular rock that was sticking out of the side of the bank, and I got, anyway, sure enough, we did find it. And of course, in the meantime, it was in these canvas bags, and the roots had grown throughout the whole canvas bag. Oh yeah, it was something to behold. But we found it.
You see, that's what Warren Buffett is. It's the most useless asset. You dig it out of the ground and then bury it back in the ground. But with our program, you can dig it out of the ground, you put it in a vault, and earn yield on it. Bam. That's the difference.
Something that if ever you get a chance to do this, okay, grab 100-ounce bar of silver in each hand, let your arms hang, and walk around. And these bars, 100 ounces, 6.7 pounds. Oh, you can feel the gravity just pulling these things back into the ground. It's the most amazing experience. So if you get a chance to do that, like silver, like precious metal, oh yeah, it just wants to go back in the ground, and it's really something to behold.
Tommy, I'm looking at gold here. It's up. Is it up $31 today?
Gold hit the new all-time high today. Currently, right now.
All time. Yeah.
But now,
27.87.
the chart I'm looking at for the CFDs was like 28.16.
Okay. Wow.
But now we're getting like some
It went
major
to,
resistance.
It went up
you're
to 28.20. 28.20 was the high.
You're seeing the tech stocks really continue to sell off, eh?
Yes. I think because people are moving from risk-off assets.
Yeah.
It could make sense. They're going into commodities like gold, silver, maybe like copper as well. Would be interesting to see. You guys have a tokenized gold product, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you been
Yes.
been noticing like the volume picking up as gold was heading over to make a new all-time high this week?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the product is AUX coin that's backed by 1 milligram of physical vaulted insured gold. You can buy it with a credit card, bank payment, whatever. Keep it in the phone, in your pocket, and ultimately use it for payments once the Visa card comes out in a couple months. It's a zero balance Visa card that doesn't have to be pre-funded. So we're using smart contracts to check the balance of your digital silver or your digital gold, so that you can use your physical metals for payments to any merchant anywhere in the world.
I'm looking at your
That's a good
chart.
point there. I'm sorry.
I'm looking at your
Go
chart.
ahead.
Someone knew gold was going to hit a new all-time high because on the 28th of January for the AUX coin, someone started bidding higher for it. Like they bought it above 10 cents. So someone knew we're going to hit all-time high and pushed it up there. Very interesting timing. Yeah, your coin's about 9.5 cents. So if we translate that to gold, as you said, it's backed by how much gold?
1 milligram.
How many milligrams are in an ounce?
31,104. 31,104 milligrams.
Milligrams, right.
So if we convert it to like the gold price, your token's worth more. It's 2,954 per ounce. So maybe this your token price suggesting that the tokenized side that gold will probably climb here and be above 3,000 per ounce very soon. So I can understand why you had a little bit of sell pressure.
3,100 by June. Steady 3,100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily doable.
Yeah. The AUS is worth a little bit more than the spot price of gold, but it is tokenized, so I can see that little extra value. And then
There's convenience there.
It includes all the storage costs for the physical metals, the insurance costs, things like that.
Gold's?
Yeah, silver's a tough one. I mean, Dan knows way more about it than me, but the spot relationship in silver, you just don't come anywhere near it at a bullion dealer, right, Dan? I mean, it just, the ounce price, you just don't get anywhere near the ounce price. You buy an ounce coin, and a silver eagle, there's a heavy premium on that.
Well, it depends on your relationship with the bullion dealer for sure, for starters, and also to the higher the format in weight. 1 ounce, 5 ounce, 10 ounce, 100 ounce, for instance. 100 ounce is going to be cheaper, but you're paying more. So there's that trade-off. And really, it's this. You pay a premium when you buy, and you also will pay a premium when you sell. And really, just to go back to something Bruce mentioned earlier about having a zero balance card, you're stacking digital gold or digital silver as a hedge, as an example, right? You're building a position, you're using it, you fall back on it when you need it, and in the meantime, you're using your fiat to do your normal day-to-day living. But there might be, you're in the fourth week of the month and now you're running short of cash. And so that's when you dip into your hedge. And this is where the zero balance card comes in. And this is where your position of stacking comes in.
Right.
Yeah, what's interesting about a zero balance card is you don't have to pre-sell your assets to pre-fund the card. So if you want to use the Visa card to spend $63, the smart contract queries the balance that you have at silver or gold. If you have $63, we're approving that transaction, not the bank. So we approve or decline the transaction based on the assets that are in your wallet.
So I'm looking at prices on silver. Some of I can't see much below for a 1 ounce coin. You're looking at $37 to $39 in US dealers. So that's a significant difference to the bullion price, obviously, to the spot price.
Yeah, I think spot right now is what, 32.40, 32.50, something like that.
Yeah.
And just to go back to I think Bruce's point here is that really there's no bank in between. It's a peer-to-peer. That's the beauty about a digital wallet, right? I can do business with any of these guys, and there's nothing in the middle. And so that's powerful.
Yeah. And dealers, in the US where you're getting good pricing, they strictly only ship to the US. There's no international because of taxation problems and that. So it's not borderless. It's completely ring fenced with borders when you're trying to get bullion.
Yeah.
How many of you guys currently right now have a little bit of Bitcoin?
I do.
I have a little bit.
All right.
A little bit. A very
I still have.
How many of you guys sold a little bit of Bitcoin this year?
I sold.
Makes sense.
Based on some advice we got from someone we know.
Yeah, like we're near tops. Man, I'm looking at this gold chart though. It's very weird when I put the gold up here with the cryptocurrencies. When I put gold with the cryptocurrencies, I'm seeing like that trend. Like gold is pushing back up right now. Bitcoin was trying to push up, but as gold started pushing up, Bitcoin started getting some sell pressure. It's like this gold price going up has directly affected Bitcoin and in a way pushing Bitcoin and altcoins away, pushing down. Right now for my Dogecoin chart, this one's very scary. My short-term moving average is crossing under the 200 moving average. The 50 moving average crossing under as well. So I'm seeing potential for massive drops and we have massive liquidations down below. This may become one of those days where we have one of the biggest liquidations in crypto for the year. We had one in December last year. That biggest day was over $1.5 billion of liquidations on people that were long. I think we can top that $1.5 billion for longs liquidate if gold starts going parabolic and people start panic selling their Bitcoin above 100K and pushing it down towards 80K.
Right. Yep. It can turn real quick. Mm-hmm. If they think, look, I want to liquidate, it's above this, it's in the six figures still. It doesn't take much to take it down to 91. I can see.
What's your tokenized silver product? What is the ticker of that?
That's AGX.
I'm gonna pull up the
every
AGX on CoinMarketCap.
Yeah, every AGX is backed by 1 gram of physical vaulted silver.
AGX coin. So it's about $1.13 right now. It's 2% up for the day. Yeah, maybe this gold price has been making silver go up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, it has. It has moved. It was up 30 a couple of days ago.
So your coin, this AGS, for the year, it's been coming up quite a decent bit. I mean, obviously not up like crypto gains, but it seems like it's been outperforming inflation. And since 2022, at 67 cents till now, it's up almost 100% in value. So
we got some nice pools going on there as well for the size of what we are. I mean, we're up there with much bigger entities like Paxos and Tether. We have we're just under six figures on each pool. So they're healthy sized pools and there's some volume there.
I'm looking at token distribution. Like it looks like the top 10 only hold about 11% of the total supply, so it is pretty well distributed for the AGX.
Yeah.
The number one
Got good
wallet,
distribution.
only has like $54,000 worth, so that's not bad distribution. Man, if gold does start flipping Bitcoin, I think you guys are gonna notice a lot of crazy trading volume coming in. Well,
I think we're on that verge.
I think for the past 80 days, gold has been slowly creeping up and flipping Bitcoin. And when it actually starts happening and we actually get a measurable green candle for the gold versus Bitcoin chart, that's when Bitcoin really bleeds down and liquidates high leverage longs. Whew. Let's see over here.
Hey, Tommy.
Yes.
Tommy, I'm getting some end of day calls here. I think we're coming up to the top of the hour. I may have to return a few of these calls. I've got several coming in. So if you don't mind, thank you for the opportunity to chat to you again. I'm going to return a couple of guys who need a call before the end of the day.
All right, we can go ahead and wrap up the stream. Anybody have any closing statements?
I was just going to say, and that is that we still have the card issuers, which are the banks, thinking that digital silver and digital gold is the same as crypto. And if they won't allow their cards to be used to pay for crypto, they're not allowing their cards to be paid for digital silver and digital gold. So there's a bit of a challenge with that. But we're looking to create new MCC codes so that the card payments are viewed as commodities, not.
Yeah. And that we have legal opinions for the US and Europe. That is what they are. It's commodity money. They are commodities. And we're going to get this cleared up with the new commissioner at the CFTC. It's been rudderless and directorless for the last, 4 years. All of this is going to change. So sorry, Bruce, I just needed to add that in because, it's clearly a commodity. It's clearly a commodity. It's legally a legal opinion. It's a commodity. It's commodity money.
Yeah, it's governed by the CFTC. And
Yep.
so those changes need to happen in the next couple months
Yep.
to make it easy to pay for digital silver, digital gold with a credit or a debit card.
Exactly.
I think we're going to see that.
Yeah, I think we will. Now we've got some leadership there, CFTC. Thank you, Tommy.
Yeah. Thank you, Tommy.
Thanks, Tommy.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a
Good
good
to see
day.
you guys. Bye.
Bye.
All right, bye. All right, let's go back over here. Let's go to the charts. I'm going to restart the YouTube stream with these charts so you guys can watch the charts together. Let me go ahead and wrap this stream up. I'll end it and then we can play these charts, guys. Yeah, I think gold is flipping Bitcoin, so I had some boomers on, some people from gold companies to come on and talk with us. What's up, Ahmad? Tame. Alright, let me restart the stream.